Hello and welcome. My name is Everett Moitoza. I'm a licensed psychologist with about 40 years of experience in consulting, practice, and working with family businesses, with families and individuals, and counseling in business settings. Change, as we know, is a fundamental fact of our lives. Nevertheless, it comes in both short and long-term types. Charles Darwin was clearly speaking of the long-term type when he said, "In nature, it's not survival of the strongest or the smartest of the species, but the species that is adaptable to change." Now, I've studied and experienced both personal and professional change over these many years. Nevertheless, I believe nothing approximates the changes, the threats, the challenges, the stress, and the coping strategies this pandemic demands of us all. This is not simply an event. Events are usually or relatively short-term, like a 50-yard dash, a broken leg, an auto accident. No, this is a marathon, and so it must be run very, very differently. Fatigue and pain are truly the hallmark of the marathon. And that's where we are today. Managing the fatigue, the threat, and pain. Managing the upside downness of our new world. So this change marathon is the challenge. Change is an event, however, this, as are all pandemics, extraordinarily long-term, ongoing processes that demand that we personally change our behavior, our thinking, and our actions. We must control what we can and resist situations, information, people, rumors, the internet, and those media that purely work to instill fear or anger or misinformation and uncertainty. These prey on our fears, on our anger, and really our ignorance. We must resist our exposure to these toxic experiences. They assault our integrity, and they destroy our free will to choose and change our fundamental well-being over doom and gloom. With our daily routines so exploded, we must look for new routines, balance and equilibrium in all areas of coping with this new life. Information is important, but really only certain amounts, and from certain reliable, fact-based, scientific outlets and media, and even then, probably not to exceed 1 or 2 hours a day. You know, as Brene Brown, a PhD professor at the University of Houston, says, crisis fatigue is the second stage enemy in this pandemic, and it's here, and we are in it. We must move from fear and anxiety to action and thinking that's health-inducing and change management hardy. Otherwise, the fatigue of the crisis, as we are in now, will bring us all down to debilitating fear and depression and helplessness. Again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So let's look at some change-hardy strategies for this marathon. I want to talk with you about this enemy and how we can handle it, and handle it with our beliefs, with our thinking, and finally with our actions. I want you to begin to inoculate yourself with a change-hardy vaccine that has always been effective in managing stress. It has 3 main ingredients in it. Number 1, to adjust your beliefs. Number 2, to adjust your thinking. And number 3, to adjust or to change your actions. So let's take each one of them in turn and begin with the beliefs part. Beliefs are things that we have held true for quite some time. They're derived by our own thoughts, those of our family and society, culture, education over time. In times of prolonged crisis, they're particularly challenged and can easily become pessimistic, defeatist, and negative. We will have to fight hard to keep them positive and personally empowered. We can do this by utilizing positive affirmations. That is, thoughts and ideas that are positive and have positive outcomes. And they can begin with the idea of, or the phrase rather, of, I believe that. So let's try a few of them right now. I believe that I have the power to make myself happy or sad. The second one, I believe that I'm a marathoner. I know how to go the distance. I believe that this virus is manageable and will ultimately be defeated. I believe that I have the ability to control my safety and my security. And lastly, I believe that I will be no less safe if I can dismiss this COVID-19 virus. The second area is around our thinking, adjusting our thinking. In 1952, a fellow by the name of Norman Vincent Peale wrote one of the first, perhaps most powerful and enduring self-help books. It was entitled The Power of Positive Thinking. And in it, he espoused ideas for business, for salespeople, and being able to think positively so that they might increase their sales in a positive way. This COVID-19 crisis now challenges us to generate and hold on to positive thoughts, positive events, and positive outcomes. This virus douses us each day with the reports of the numbers of people it has rendered sick and dead, a grim assault on our healthy thoughts of love and life. We can retaliate by consciously and deliberately thinking and saying to ourselves and others these thoughts. This is a marathon, and I'm not afraid. There is no evil in this virus, only new lessons of awareness to experience and to grow from. The second one, I have trust and faith that I will continue to make safe and healthy decisions. A third, I'm going to try to keep thinking about what the universe is working on that is going great or going right around me. And a final one perhaps is, every day I'm thinking and wondering about what great thing will happen today. Our third area, actions. All action should be guided by the safe behaviors and the activities that have been so frequently outlined by the many reputable health outlets and professionals. The fundamental driver for change, hardy folks, is to move from a fear of loss to the embrace of gain. Here are a few actions that I believe can add to our emotional, our cognitive, and physical well-being. What I'd really like you to do is to create your own personal COVID-19 virus strategic war plan. The plan will include activities, writings, contact with friends and family, long-avoided household chores and cleanups. These will be positive in nature and necessarily bring mounds of satisfaction in their completion. Each day, rain or shine, 15 to 60 minutes of outdoors walking, sitting, biking, or even napping would be a positive and healthy action. Another would be to only hang out with positive folks. Avoid doomsdayers. They'll bring you down. It'll be very unsatisfying. Another would be to reread, including books on tape if you're not able to read, are your favorite books from the past, or ones that you've always wanted to read and put aside. This may be the time to read Ulysses, for a fact. Likewise, do the same with our favorite music. Listen to things from the past that really bring us a nostalgia of pleasure. Be sure to have at least one conversation with someone wherein we talk about all the good that's coming from this crisis. Another would be to FaceTime with loved ones and friends to combat the isolation. Notice and pay attention to all the good and generous activities of individuals, restaurants that are making meals for their employees who have been furloughed and providing extra nutrition for them in those ways. So in summary, let's look at some of these main concepts. We're talking about being change hardy. We're talking about that this is a marathon that instills a great deal of fatigue, of crisis fatigue, and that some of the ways to combat it and to increase our change hardiness is to increase in very positive ways our thinking, our beliefs, and our actions. We search out the positive. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section of this video. We'd love to know who's watching our broadcast. Also, tune in next week for another episode brought to you by the teams at Riverwoods, Exeter, Birch Hill, and Riverwoods, Durham. Thank you for watching. Please continue to stay at home. Stay safe and stay healthy. Remember, you can't always get what you want, but just sometimes you just might find you get what you need. Goodbye and thank you.